Earth, fire, air. Long ago, the four sick podcast hosts decided to review The Last Airbender by M. Night Shyamalan. Hello and welcome to the S.I.C.K podcast. We're back, baby.
That was a good intro.
Little bit of a hiatus. I just pulled that intro completely out of my ass.
That was good. I like that, actually. That was a lot of fun.
I could tell.
I'm a fan.
We're here. We're
very cool.
Analyzing a cinematic masterpiece. I think we have a cinematic masterpiece on our hands today, boys.
I wouldn't use either of those words.
You wouldn't call it cinema?
I might no.
Nope.
Movie at
Martin
the very
Scorsese
best.
over here.
I would maybe call it a movie.
Well, I think we're all gonna have a lot of exciting things to say about this movie,
We
but
sure are.
but as always, we got Edison.
Yeah, that's me. I always do a little.
We got
like
Cameron.
That. Yeah.
That's me.
Unfortunately, this week we don't have Blake, but I'm here. I'm Zach, and I believe we probably have some movie news to get
we're
to.
hopping right into it. Some Edison movie news.
Yep, some Edison movie news.
We have some Edison movie news. Let me tell you. So I kind of, because of our week hiatus, I kind of am taking the best of both weeks. So first off, Mads Mikkelsen is joining Indiana Jones 5. Probably as the villain because it's Mads Mikkelsen. You know, who knows though? He could be. That'd be kind of crazy if he wasn't. He just looks like a villain though.
I don't know who we're talking about.
Is Steven Spielberg and Harrison Ford returning for that?
Harrison Ford is. I don't know about Spielberg.
Okay.
He might be though. Mads Mikkelsen, look him up. He's like the most evil-looking guy in the entire world.
He was what's his face in Doctor Strange.
Yes, he was. He was the villain. He's also just like the villain in any other movie you think of. He's just an evil-looking guy. So it could be.
Fair.
Isn't he in Rogue One?
Yes.
I feel like he is.
He is.
He is.
Yep.
Yeah.
He is.
He's also the villain in that one.
Yeah.
So he's probably the villain in Indiana Jones 5, but maybe not. So the working title for Black Panther 2 is Summer Break, which obviously the working title is not like what it's going to be. How stupid is that?
Black Panther Far From Home.
Right? Like that's exactly what I thought too. It sounds like one of the Spider-Man titles. Like how stupid is that?
I don't know. They're just calling it something.
Yeah, it's the working
I think,
title.
they're just calling it.
I don't think that.
It's like when they called the Nintendo Switch the Nintendo NX, and everybody for years was calling it the Nintendo NX.
Yeah, that was cool.
But that was just a name.
Yeah, the NX is a cooler name than the Switch, though. So
that is true. That is true.
Well, we kind of landed on the Switch is okay, but as a system, flawed. Those controllers, man, they're awful.
The Joy-Cons?
The Joy-Cons, they're terrible.
Yeah, they suck.
I just
Pro Controller actually good Pro Controller.
Is it? Yeah, because I was trying to play Celeste, and I was going through the B-sides of Celeste, and my controller started breaking. Like Joy-Con drift started happening during my like playthrough of Celeste, and I was like, "This is impossible," and I hate this. And they're $80.
Yeah, that sounds rough.
I hate it.
Yeah, individually, right?
No, I think it's 40 each.
Oh, okay.
But even still, it's ridiculous, and they break in like a year.
Yeah. True. It's true.
I don't know. Nintendo is kind of screwing it up lately a little bit, but
yeah,
you know, we'll still buy the games maybe. So
yeah, they make good games.
The HBO Lord of the Rings series is in the works, and it's the most expensive TV show to ever be made at $450 million for the first season.
Dude, okay, but it's worth it. Let's be real.
It probably is.
Who's not going to watch that? Everybody and their mom is going to watch that.
That's right. Cameron, are you a fan of Lord of the Rings?
Yeah,
Lord of the Rings.
That's what I thought. I wasn't sure though.
Really good movies.
You guys want to hear some interesting news?
Yes.
A member of the S.I.C.K podcast, being me, is going to be an extra on an HBO show.
No. What show?
Dude.
What show? That's awesome. I'm going to watch
the S.I.C.K podcast has penetrated Hollywood.
The entertainment industry. We're getting there, man. We'll break through.
No, but
get us a sponsor, Zach.
This is sponsored.
That's right. Yeah,
The
what
show
movie
is
is it?
called
What
Audible.
show?
No, I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
man. Is it a show or a movie?
It's a show called The Gilded Age, which is a period piece by the same guy who created Downton Abbey.
Oh, okay. So that's promising.
And they're filming in an area near where the three of us live, and they needed extras, and I applied.
Speaking of,
honestly, if you guys wanted to get in on that,
hey, maybe I might.
You maybe could.
That'd be kind of cool.
We'll talk after.
Yeah. But imagine, that'd be insane. Anyway, speaking about filming near us, did you guys see that Owen Wilson is going to be playing Bob Ross in a Bob Ross biopic that's filming over in Saratoga?
Interesting.
Yeah. I saw people, I saw this great meme that was like nobody and then just nothing, and then like people in Saratoga yesterday, and it was just a bunch of pictures of Owen Wilson with like googly eyes.
I know that Global Foundries is moving to Saratoga.
Is it?
Yeah, they're moving the headquarters from Silicon Valley
to be closer to Owen Wilson.
That's right, Owen Wilson.
Because of him. Yep.
They follow Owen Wilson everywhere he goes.
That's so crazy.
I wanna meet Owen Wilson so badly. Like, if there were probably 3 celebrities I could meet, Owen Wilson would definitely be one of them. Probably like Paul Rudd would be another
wow.
one.
Oh my God, Paul Rudd. Don't even get me started on Paul Rudd. He's so unattractive.
I hate that you just said that because it's untrue, but what are you gonna say?
Oh my God, he's gross. Anyway, Owen Wilson, he's gonna be in Loki. That's the thing.
I know he's gonna be in Loki.
He's like the main guy in Loki besides Loki. He's like the other guy.
The showrunner. What's that?
He's like Time Police or whatever.
The head of. The showrunner of that show came out and said that Loki does not have to be a 1-season thing. Like, it is open for more seasons.
Wow.
There's nothing confirmed yet, but it could happen. So that's kind of exciting because WandaVision obviously is never going to get a second season because how could it ever?
And that's okay.
Captain America in the Winter Soldier, spoilers, sorry, could get a second season. That would make sense to me, I think.
Well, it could, but also, didn't they announce that they're doing a Captain America movie?
Captain America movie.
Cap 4.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'd rather that than another
and that'll be
TV show.
Me too. The TV show was pretty good overall, but Anthony Mackie will be Captain America in the 4th one. I think that maybe Sharon Carter will be the villain of that movie, but who knows? Because they kind of tried to set that up a little bit in the show.
Yep. Or Zemo.
Could be Zemo. Yeah, I feel like if they are doing it.
Nah,
so
it's not going to be Zemo.
I doubt it'll be Zemo because it would be.
They're going to save him for the Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
It would be interesting. He might be in it though. Is what I'm thinking. Is that all of the characters in that show will probably be in the 4th Captain America movie. My thought process. Speaking of Marvel, though, we got our first look at the Shang-Chi movie. And it looks good. It looks like a good movie. So the cinematographer is Bill Pope, who also did the second 2 Tobey Maguire Spider-Man films, and he did Scott Pilgrim. So that's why it looks so good.
Those are good ones.
They are good ones. And that releases in September of this year. And I'm excited. It looks great. It's very colorful in some spots. Great looking action shots.
Yeah, for sure.
Should be good.
Great cast, yeah.
Great cast. Yeah, Awkwafina. She's hanging around. Awkwafina's always just hanging around, isn't she?
I feel like she's been in so many things in the past couple of years. I've seen her a bunch of times.
What was she in? She was in Jumanji 2. And
was that what
else.
It was?
She was in Jumanji 2. She was also in
that movie.
Raya
Just feels like everything to me.
Yeah, everybody is in Jumanji 2.
Yeah.
Even Zach. Zach's in Jumanji 2.
Yep. That was my first big break. Jumanji 2.
Cameron's tree number 5. You look real hard. It was the only person cast as a tree, so it's actually not that hard to find. So Sebastian Stan is starring in an indie film called Monday, and I saw a trailer for it. Not of my own volition, it was an ad. And it's just Sebastian Stan just making out with a woman for 2 minutes straight of this
I'm there.
commercial. Me too, though. Like, it's interesting. It's supposed to be like a relationship story. Looks all right. Most of it was just them kissing. So I can't imagine that there's much more to it. There might be, though.
I'm
Who
gonna
knows?
pre-order my tickets right now.
That's an indie film, though, so I don't know where that'll go. Live action Rock'em Sock'em Robots movie. Live action Rock'em Sock'em
That's not
Robots
real.
movie. It is real.
I think
No, it is
I
real.
think that's just real. I think
It
it's
is
just
real.
real steel.
It is real steel. No, that's exactly what it is. It stars Vin Diesel, and it's exactly real steel.
I can't believe this.
Yeah, me either, but it's
You're just
true.
lying to me.
I'm not lying to you. It's real.
That's so cringe.
I agree. But it's real.
Wow.
So Michael Keaton began filming for The Flash.
That's so cool.
So there was a little bit of scheduling like iffiness. He was saying that if COVID kind of continued, he may not do it. He's kind of getting old. But he started filming, so he's going to be in that movie, which is exciting. He'll be Batman.
That's
I think
so cool.
that's official.
I guess some people were like, kind of didn't know how to feel about that. I think that's so awesome.
I think it's awesome too because it's Flashpoint. Yeah. Yes, it is Flashpoint.
Yeah, it's like a play off that story, I think.
Which is a weird direction to take, but
Yeah.
I think if they want to reset the abomination that is the DC extended universe,
Right.
no better way to reset it than Flashpoint.
Right, I think that's why they're doing it.
I also heard that I heard this. It could be true or not. I heard that Ben Affleck is also going to be in this Flash movie, and it's going to be his farewell. Like this is going to be like the last one.
Yeah,
like my guess is they're killing off Ben Affleck in this new Flash movie.
I bet you're right. Do you think that Robert Bat is at all connected to that universe, or do you think that's completely single?
I'm sorry, what did you just say?
Robert Pattinson. Do you think his Batman is included in that DCEU, or do you think his thing's going to be completely standalone like Joker?
I've heard that
probably something like Joker.
I've actually heard that it is a part of the DCEU. So like technically, it's supposed to be like a younger version of Ben Affleck, which is I really feel like Robert Pattinson does not convincingly play like a younger Ben Affleck.
Not at all.
It is going to be a part of the DCEU, but it is separate. It's not going to have a ton of like, because apparently I think they're going for another trilogy, maybe another couple of movies with I just called him Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson. Do you like that?
But yeah, I think they're it's not going to be interconnected like Justice League or something like that.
I think that the DCEU needs to stop trying to be Marvel, because that's what they're doing. They keep trying to make an MCU, but I think that if they did not, they would do much better. Because they can't do it, clearly. They clearly cannot do it.
Yeah, I honestly think DC is at their best when they're doing their own thing. I think they're kind of saturating the other market that Marvel doesn't, which is kind of like maybe more kind of like artsy, more kind of dark, gritty, violent sort of, which is like opposite from Marvel's like tone.
Absolutely. That's what I think. Great, because their best performing one is Joker,
Yeah, Joker's one of the most profitable films ever.
What do you mean? What do you mean? It made $1 billion.
Well, no, I'm not arguing that Joker's not a good movie. But I'm saying, of the ones that are connected to the DCEU, because Joker's a solo movie, I would say Shazam is the best.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying it's the best. I'm saying profitability wise.
Oh yeah.
Joker made like tons more money, and that's where they do. Shazam's okay. See, but that's the thing is Shazam's all right, but Joker's a pretty it's different. It's interesting.
See, but Joker gave us like memes.
It did.
I feel like we're not talking about Shazam memes, right?
That is true. We're still talking about Joker memes all the time.
True, all the time.
Yeah. Shout out to Paul. I don't know if you're listening, but
yeah, Paul, this one's for you.
Our group chat with just Joker memes, classic. Hawkeye has finished filming.
Pogger.
Yeah, the show. I don't know. I don't have much else to say about that. I just wanted to say that it is done. So the weird thing happened with Sony over the last week. Sony made a deal with Netflix, and they were like, "Yeah, all our movies they'll go over to you." And then Disney was like, "But no, though," and they either outbid or did some sort of legal thing. So originally, all of the Sony movies from here on out until like 2026. We're going to go to Netflix, but now they are all going to Disney, which includes stuff like Spider-Man, Fast and Furious, I think, is Sony. Other things, I don't know what else.
Yeah,
Indiana Jones is Sony. Or sorry, not
I
Indiana
did
Jones.
hear about
James Bond
that.
is Sony. My bad.
And yeah, someone was talking about how Disney, when Spider-Man starts to roll around, they're gonna do like a Spider-Man Disney Plus like legacy collection, so that people can like watch like Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield ones before Spider-Verse or whatever.
That's awesome. I'll check them out.
Which is kind of cool.
I've only ever seen the first Maguire and the second Garfield.
Oh, the second Maguire is the best one.
I should check it out. I've never seen it.
It's really good.
So Russell Crowe, I mentioned this the other week, but Russell Crowe said that is like he's joining for Thor 4, and he's going to be playing Zeus, is the character he's officially playing. I don't know what that entails. I don't know if that's going to be a big part or a small part of the movie, but that is who he's playing.
That is wonderful.
Yeah, right? I think that's exciting. That's there aren't any Greek gods in the MCU yet, are there?
Nope. They're all over the comics, though.
Norse. Yeah. So that's exciting because that's kind of a fun new thing to add in. Everybody knows those. So in like a weird piece of news, one old review has knocked Citizen Kane on Rotten Tomatoes down to a 99, making Paddington 2 the best rated movie ever.
Wait, hold on. That's not real, right?
It really is real. It just happened today. Paddington 2 is the best rated movie in the entire world.
Wow.
Or is it in the world or just on Rotten Tomatoes?
On Rotten Tomatoes. So every movie in the world, but on Rotten Tomatoes.
So then what, Citizen Kane's ranked higher on it and then on every other thing besides Rotten Tomatoes then?
Well, it's probably tied.
But Cameron, we know that Rotten Tomatoes is the only thing that matters.
That's right.
Obviously.
This is true.
That's what I'm saying.
Dude, that is so funny. I've actually seen Paddington 2.
Yeah.
What a delightful film.
Is it really? I've never seen it. I've only ever seen the first one.
It's actually so good. And I'm glad for Paddington 2, honestly. Never seen Citizen Kane.
Mm-hmm.
I think Paddington 2 really is shaping up to be the Citizen Kane of tomorrow. In 50 years, I think people are going to be looking back and they're going to be like, Paddington 2.
A movie that most people have never seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like the amount of reviews does not check out there. You know, there's no way that there's not like hundreds of thousands more on Citizen Kane. But I don't know for sure. I kind of want to look into it. So while I look into this, I would like to start the topic. Move out of Edison movie news, everybody's favorite segment. You know, the whole 9 yards.
Everyone's favorite. Yep.
Yeah, it's everybody's favorite. And I would like to move into a little bit of discussion about the Oscars, which I know none of the three of us watched, but all of the three of us heard about the results and probably have some opinions. Cameron, would you like to start talking about that?
Let's see. I know there's a bit of controversy because a lot of people are upset that Chadwick Boseman didn't get Greatest Actor. I get why people are upset, but it's weird because and I don't want to sound like rude, but just because Chadwick Boseman passed away doesn't mean he automatically gets the Oscar. You can make the same argument for Kobe Bryant when he had unfortunately passed away at the beginning of last year. Yeah, he's one of the greatest basketball players to have ever lived. Arguably one of the greatest Lakers of all time, but he shouldn't just win every single award that year because he died. And I know some people were mad because the guy who won wasn't even at the Oscars. But I feel indifferent. I feel indifferent about that. The only one I really cared about was Soul won both the awards it was nominated for, and that's all that matters.
That's cool. I'm not the biggest. We should do an episode on Soul at some point because I have some hot takes on Soul.
It is on the wheel.
It is on the wheel.
I was kind of bummed. I think I personally would have liked to have seen Chadwick take it. I mean, it's just kind of like it reminded me of when Heath Ledger won after he died for the Joker. I don't know. It's just like I feel like it would have just been a really
the greatest performance of that time period.
Also, I have
he
another
won
hot.
for
I've
Joker,
I've
yeah?
I have hot takes about Heath Ledger's Joker,
Yeah.
but we'll do an episode on The Dark Knight at some point. I don't know.
I'll
I
put that
feel
on
like
the wheel right now.
it would have been it would have been nice to like honor his work. I saw the movie he was nominated for, and it was a very good performance. I didn't see Anthony Hopkins. I didn't see any of the movies, by the way, for people listening. I saw none of them.
I saw 2 of them.
But I also thought it was kind of, I don't know, because like the Oscars are like partly about like who actually gives the best performance, and like also, but the truth is that it's actually like there's a decently large chunk of what the Oscars is that's actually just about like the politics of like Hollywood and like the movie industry and stuff. And it's kind of a lot about like how narratives start to form, and
Right.
like Chadwick won like every other major award. He won the Golden Globe, he won the BAFTA, he won the SAG award, and like they put Best Actor last at the Oscars after Best Picture, and then like Anthony Hopkins like won. And I guess I don't know how they really. I think that they probably should have checked to make sure that Chadwick Boseman was actually going to win before they moved Best Actor last.
Right, or at least announced it, because they could have just moved it back.
Yeah, I thought it was a really just kind of a weird choice, and I certainly don't have any bad feelings towards Anthony Hopkins. I think he had nothing to do with it. I saw like a video of him after he won, and it looked like he was. I mean, he obviously wasn't there. He looked like he was shell shocked. I think he definitely did not think he was going to win. Right. So I don't know. It's just kind of a weird thing.
It is weird, and I think the most upsetting part to me is that they kind of did push that narrative that Chadwick was going to win. Like Cameron, I think that you're absolutely right that just because somebody dies, as terrible as it is, they don't deserve the Oscar for that. And he did a great job. He's a great actor. I've only seen clips from that movie. I haven't seen the full movie. I'd like to. I think it's on Netflix. So I agree with you that I don't think he deserves it just for being dead. However, the fact that they kind of pushed that narrative that he was going to win is kind of my problem with it. Because if you're not gonna, just don't make a big deal out of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to Paddington.
All award shows are rigged.
They all are.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, I was looking on Rotten Tomatoes. Citizen Kane has 120 reviews from critics, and Paddington 2 has 244.
Let's go! Yeah. Let's go!
And I was checking around some other rating websites, but mostly the other ones are like People's, not critics, and they were both rated the same, if not Paddington 2 higher.
Wow.
So that's kind of crazy, isn't it?
I'm putting Paddington 2 on the wheel.
Probably just number of reviews.
No, I literally just said that.
No, yeah, that's what I'm agreeing with that.
I'm putting Paddington 2 on the wheel. We're doing it, boys.
I'd be happy to do it though. Well, if it's the highest rated movie on Rotten Tomatoes, I feel like
it's actually good. He's a British bear that eats marmalade.
I hated Paddington 1.
It's fine.
Oh, so much better.
Yeah, Paddington 1's like okay. But anyway, that's Paddington news, Oscars news. Got a little bit of Marvel, a little bit of DC. Oh, West Side Story trailer. Looks great.
Oh,
Steven
yeah.
Spielberg. Looks great. I'm excited for it. I wasn't excited for it, but I'm excited for it now. Looks real good. Check it out.
Yeah, that's super. I really enjoyed that trailer. Directed by Steven Spielberg and written by Tony Kushner, who's like one of the greatest playwrights of like our like modern times. Very cool.
Yeah, it's exciting.
So
but anyway, I think it's time to move into the world's greatest film, The Last Airbender.
The greatest film. This is the greatest film.
This is the worst movie I have ever seen in my entire life.
It's bad. Okay. This movie is really bad.
It has no redeeming qualities. The writing is bad. The characters are awful. Costumes are pretty bad. It's like he didn't even watch the show.
I don't think he did. Legitimately, I do not think that he did.
I don't think he did. There's no way he did.
Should I give the listeners at home a little quick synopsis?
Let's go with that quick sum, please.
All right. So, the film opens on Katara and Sokka, who stumble upon a boy in the ice named Ong, who is the last of his kind, being the airbenders, until they are pursued by the Fire Nation Prince Zuko and his uncle Iroh.
Well, Iroh.
As they try to capture the Avatar, who is on.
The
honestly,
Avatar.
This movie is bad.
It's so bad.
Yeah, it's. So for listeners at home, I had started watching the movie and I had, texted everyone in our little group chat. I almost couldn't make it past the 30-minute mark because of how infuriating the movie was.
It's really tough to get through.
I don't think I've ever seen a worse adaptation of anything ever.
Ready Player One's pretty bad,
yeah,
but that movie at least is okay.
Good.
So it
Yeah, but they pronounced the
balances
characters'
out.
names right. Yeah.
Right.
You guys want to know what my main thought about the movie was?
Yes.
Sure.
I started watching this movie and I was having a great time just because of how bad it was. I was just like laughing at it. Like it was just like that, but then it got to a certain point where that got boring and the movie just became bad.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting there and I was like, this is bad. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so here's my overall impression for this movie, right? This show is one of the funniest cartoons I've ever seen in my life. It's dramatic, it's emotional, it's great. This movie is just so bland. It takes itself too seriously. There's not even like a single joke in it. The characters, is there one?
Dude,
the jokes are bad. They're all bad.
What about that one part where Katara's water bending and she drenches Sokka and he's like, "Can you please stop doing that? You always get me wet."
Yeah. That did happen.
Let's talk about that scene. So the worst part about this movie, if I had to narrow it down, is probably the bending, because that's what everyone wanted to see live action. The first time we see bending, Katara is moving this water bubble, right?
There is.
However, there's a lot of water falling out of this bubble, but not only does it not lose shape, it remains the same size the entire time. And it's almost like a waterfall at the bottom of this bubble. Like she shouldn't have held it in the first place. There's no way. Like, where's the water going? Why is there so much?
So I just want to say, sorry, Cameron, to cut you off, but the very opening shot of this movie is the classic intro to the show, as demonstrated by Zach to this podcast, right? First of all, the intro to the show, incredible. It flows so well. It looks so great. This intro to the movie takes like 10 seconds on each element, looks terrible. It doesn't flow to itself at all. It's wrong.
It took like all of the personality. It took like all of the personality out of the show's intro, which the show's intro is amazing. Yeah. It's an amazing intro. All the stuff about it, it's just like the most bland, like boring, like intro to the world and the characters. It sucks.
Yeah, and there's like a scrolling text like Star Wars style.
It was so that was so weird.
It was so dumb. And it was like it didn't even say the words from the show. It was like a vague remembrance. Like if you had told somebody to watch a single episode and then write down what they had heard after watching the full episode.
So
God, it was bad.
For those at home who have seen the show, you might remember probably one of the funniest episodes, which is called Ember Island Players.
Classic.
Now, what they do is it's the group goes to see a play from the Fire Nation's perspective of Aang's journey. That episode is better than this movie because they get the characters' names right. I'm not so we got Aang, the Avatar, got Uncle Iroh, and what was it, Sokka?
Sokka.
And then there's this one scene where Zuko and Uncle Iroh are like sitting down, and Zuko just brings over this random kid to give his backstory.
Oh my God.
That was so horrible.
And the kid was like, so he was challenged to an Agni Kai, because it's spelled Kai. You can't get key in there. It's Agni Kai.
God, it's like
they didn't like the first time you see Zuko, like one of his most defining trait is that he's a massive scar on his face, right?
Yeah, his
I
scar's so
couldn't
small.
tell.
Can't even see
I
it.
couldn't tell that he had a scar
I thought he
the
didn't
first
have
time.
one. I literally thought he didn't have one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let's get into one of the. There are, there's a lot of things wrong with this movie. With the firebenders, apparently they can't bend without a source of fire.
Well, some of them can't bend without a source of
Well,
fire.
it's only Sozin that can do it.
Yeah, Iroh
does it
at the
Well,
end.
Iroh, sorry, and
Iroh does it at the end.
yeah, Zuko does a little bit too because he warms his little fingies up.
Yeah, he does do
Which
the
is,
fingies.
I think, actually, the most accurate part of the movie is the most wanted poster because that looked more like Aang.
It did. I know. I saw that, and it was
this
like a
white
perfect
kid.
recreation. Yeah.
It was the most whitewashed cast I've ever seen.
Yeah, well, the casting of this movie is like undeniably
Awful.
extremely racist.
Terrible. Yeah.
Like horribly racist. That being said, I did think the kid who they found for Aang, he sounded like Aang. He was a little kid, but he also like was martial arts. I thought I mean, obviously it's racist casting and shouldn't be like this, but for what it is, I thought the kid looks like Aang. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With
some of the driest dialogue ever.
Mm-hmm.
Let's,
Overall,
you know what? How about we
funny,
take this?
bland.
How about we go through and we try to find some of the cringiest moments here at a time.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
I'll.
You got one?
Who
Okay,
wants
go
to
ahead.
go first? Yeah.
Go ahead, Cameron.
So there's a part of the movie where they go through these Earth kingdoms to try and free them from the Fire Nation.
Which look nothing like the Earth Kingdom. They're little tiny villages that look like I don't even know what. They're like yurts.
They had said they were like, oh, there's all these tiny little villages, but they haven't gotten cities like Ba Sing Se, whatever. There's a scene, and for those of you who don't know, Earthbenders, they bend the earth. So in the TV show, when the Fire Nation imprisons Earthbenders, they put them on this like metal prison in the middle of the ocean, right? With no rocks. They just leave the Earthbenders in their regular village. They don't even like chain them up or anything. They're just free to roam around the camp. And so then, then Ong starts to fight the Fire Nation people, and his airbending is garbage. And
no, Cameron, can I take over for a quick sec?
Sure.
So they're first off, they're sitting there. All of these, there's like 5 Earthbenders to every Fire Nation guard there, surrounded by Earth. They're literally in the middle of like a field, like they're surrounded by Earth. And then Aang like casually is like walking up, and he gives the cringiest, most horrible delivered, like motivational speech. Oh my
and all the
God.
all the firebenders just stand around and watch.
Yep.
Yes, and they're all just watching.
They don't do a single thing.
And this cringy speech given by this 10-year-old kid suddenly makes all the Earthbenders realize that, oh wait, there's like 1 million of us and we're like standing like on Earth. And then I gotta say, the one of the things in this movie that made me laugh out loud was they start fighting, right? And there's like a group of 5 Earthbenders that all together do this crazy form, and they're like shouting. It's like, oh! And then
they move
the tiniest little rock flies. They did all this work, and they have the little tiniest CGI rock fly.
And then some guy like breaks it. Oh my God, it's awful. It's so
besides
terrible.
that, the rock is moving so slow. Like
it's so slow.
Just get out of the way.
Yeah, it's like
like
if somebody had picked it up and moved it, which is probably what happened. Somebody picked up something
and a green morph suit, and they just picked it up and walked it over.
Right.
And the firebenders.
Oh my God.
I think that's a general problem with all of the bending in this movie is that the actors do these really fast, sharp martial arts movements, and then this kind of like laggy, slow element just like follows behind.
Like a little bit, and sometimes it doesn't even happen.
Yeah.
Every single like fight is just somebody taking the arm of a person over their shoulder and then like trying to break it.
Yeah.
It happens like 20, 30 times throughout this movie where somebody does this exact move. You take their arm, you put it over your shoulder, you press down on it. Happens so many times.
And probably the weirdest part, one of the weirdest parts about this movie is they try and cram like 2 seasons worth of stuff into one movie. Like an hour and a half movie. And it was weird because it was like the timing was just all wrong. It's like the first season in the show is Aang, and they end up where the movie ends. They end up in the North Pole, whatever. But they introduce Zuko as the Blue Spirit, which you don't get until about halfway through the second season.
Mm-hmm.
And then like they hint at the scene where in the show where Aang is like, "Do you think we could have been friends?" And then Zuko, like, it's great character development.
It's so
in the show,
cringe.
but it makes
when
no
Aang
sense
when
in
Aang
the
says we
context
could
of
have
the
been
movie.
friends,
It makes no sense.
it makes
it's out
no
of nowhere.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah.
There's like it just like I mean the very first scene of this show, like 5 minutes in, you're like 2 episodes into the show, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to do that much work, you know, if you want to compress a 4-season show into one movie, I know they only did 2 seasons, but
3, right?
it's hard. Is it 3?
Oh,
three.
it's two in the movie, but 3 in the show.
No,
Wait,
sorry,
no,
that's what I
it's
meant.
one movie
I
per
was saying-
season. So this movie is based on.
That's only the first book?
No,
Are you kidding?
No,
It's the first season.
no. I thought the Blue
Well-
Spirit was in the second season.
No. The Blue Spirit was in the. This is only first season stuff. The Blue Spirit's in the
Oh,
first
really?
season.
Okay.
Well, so that makes it even worse because there are a lot of episodes, right? So there's more time, but one season into a movie like shouldn't be that hard. But they're moving at a pace of like 2 episodes per 3 minutes.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. And then they're just adding stupid stuff of their own.
Mhm.
Oh god, I
Well,
hate it.
here's my thing is that I think that this has the classic adaptation problem of I think you got to go 2 ways. You got to either be extraordinarily faithful to the source material and how you represent it, or you have to be okay with the fact that you're going to make changes and you have to make your own new thing. And I think that, like, I mean, the way that they structured the story of this movie is awful. It feels like the way they introduce information about the world of Avatar and the way that they introduce
my God.
locations and
The
other
exposition in this show.
Oh, it's
Oh my
so
God.
horrible.
It's the worst.
So when the conversation that Katara has with her grandmother, and she just knows everything, and then tells her and Sokka, like, "Oh,
Right.
this happened, and this," and then
This.
like they
Come here, little boy. You bring a little boy over, and he just knows everything about Zuko.
yeah,
And then Zuko, he got burned by his father.
because it was his father instead, and he burned him as a sign of his weakness. And then Zuko cries, and he's like, "Good job." What is that scene?
Guys,
Also,
It
why?
all makes
like,
no
why
sense.
why does that scene need to happen? Iroh already knows he was there. Who is he telling
because the
story
audience doesn't know Cameron. It's for the
to?
audience.
But the show has
Well, I
already
think-
been out.
I know that's the most frustrating part is that I know so much about the show that it's like it's just frustrating when they do any exposition at all. I'm like, I know that already. You don't need to tell me.
Yeah.
But it does feel like they're force feeding every single piece of information down your throat. And
It's
also, the
really
dragon doesn't exist in the show, does it?
No, it does, but it's different. Because it's
I don't remember that dragon
so
at
See,
all.
I have no problem
it's
with the dragon,
Avatar
actually.
Roshi's dragon, but it never does that in the show where it talks to him.
Right. I was gonna say it's like all the previous avatars.
Yeah, it would be different if it was Roshi instead of the dragon, but no, they just went with Roshi's dragon.
That's so
Um,
weird.
I mean, I think here's the deal. If you have the task of making the entire first season of Avatar into a movie, you have to cut stuff and you have to restructure the way things work, right? I
Yeah,
do think
absolutely.
for this movie, some of the stuff they chose to include versus some of the stuff that I think they missed is really strange. Really
Mhm.
strange. I think
Yep.
that they I mean, even taking the opening sequence from the point where they find Aang to when Aang leaves, right? That's such an important thing to get right, because
Yeah.
when Aang gets captured by Zuko and fights his way out, and then in the movie he goes and Katara and Sokka are there, Sokka, I guess we'll call him, and
It's okay.
Aang flies over and he's like, "Thanks for bringing Appa," and they're just like, "We're coming with you," and
Right.
he was just like, "Okay." But no,
Right.
that's
There's
the
no
worst
connection
writing.
there, right.
We don't know why. We don't even know that, because the original idea is that Aang needs to learn waterbending and
Mhm.
Katara needs to learn waterbending, and they bond over their, water.
Right in the ship.
Right, and then so then
Yeah.
they're like, then it's like, okay, well, Katara feels like it's her destiny because she's the last waterbender of her village and she's in the shadow of her mother, that she will go with the Avatar to learn water. Like that propels Katara's character.
Right.
Katara in this movie has zero character. Sokka in this movie has zero character. This movie has the dynamic 1-2 punch of it has horrible writing, but it compensates for that by having just as bad acting. It's really, really, really bad.
Right. It's not even entertaining bad. It's just bad.
No, it's just like, bad.
Sokka is one of the funniest characters that's ever been written, just like overall, in my opinion. That's subjective, but he's not funny at all in this movie.
He's supposed to be like a wisecracking, sarcastic asshole. That's like his character,
right?
But in this, he's like
just like some
he's like
dude.
super edgy because he's like, oh, I'm the last warrior of my village. But
oh my god.
See, I don't even. Oh, Cameron, you go. For sure, Cameron.
I wanted to go back to the Earth Village fight scene because I forgot I had taken notes on it. So Katara runs up to a grown man and pushes him, yelling, "Leave him alone!"
Oh my god!
And
she can waterbend too. So
and then it took 6 grown men to slowly float a rock that's about 2 feet tall towards people, and then Sokka.
My favorite part of the movie, easily.
It really.
Sokka literally runs up and kicks a guy in the dick. That's all he does in this movie.
He really does, like twice. I think it happens twice. He at least knocks some guy with the boomerang.
He does. He does at the start of the fight.
Back of the neck at least 2 times. Oh my god!
That's just weird.
I just feel like the choreography of this movie, like very clearly the actors can do martial arts, but they didn't utilize it well at all.
They also
bending
they got
looks terrible.
They got the Avatar just wrong because they were in the movie. They described it as the Fire Nation didn't want the Avatar because they wanted nothing to do with the spirits. That's just not true. They didn't want the Avatar because the Avatar is the only person that could have beaten them. They try and set up the spirit world, but that's not at all what they're scared because he's the only one that can beat Sozin, right?
I just feel like if you're gonna try and compress it down into one season, one movie, that's what you cut out. The spirit world doesn't matter all that much. It matters in the show because it's great writing.
It matters in Katara more,
I also feel like they definitely spend way too much time on it.
Right, you can easily. Yeah, it matters way more in Korra.
Yeah,
you can easily cut that out and make it something different where the Avatar state is just like he's strong now.
Yeah.
Which I would not prefer that because it's not as good writing.
Yeah.
As the spirit world, but that's something that it takes time to develop, right? And then you could spend more time like with characters. They just made such terrible decisions.
Yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of what's happening here is you have like people that actually have the talent to make a good film, and then you have a studio that's like, okay, this is a Nickelodeon film that has to be marketable, so it's going to be an hour and a half, and we're going to have to make all these changes and blah 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 blah.
Right.
I mean, I really think if they took like a Lord of the Rings style approach with this movie, where it was like a little bit on the longer side, and it was kind of like character driven, and it was about their journey to this location because like
and it looked good.
And it looked good. Well, I feel like something that's really heavily stressed in the first season of the show is like their journey to the North Pole, and like I feel like in a blink of an eye, like I forget that they're traveling to the North Pole, and then they're just there.
Yeah,
and then they spend like a disproportionately long amount of time at the North Pole compared to everywhere else in the movie.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Right, the traveling in the show is like the majority of it. Like they're traveling to all these different places.
Yeah,
but it just kind of happens in the movie. Like they're just out of place now.
That's where all the character development is, on Appa's back.
It really is, and that's so interesting. Appa looks pretty good though. I do have to.
Oh my god!
I'll give it credit where credit's due. Appa looks all right.
His face was pure nightmare fuel.
It was scary, but it was like
disgusting.
In real life, he probably would look like that.
Probably, but it was.
So I'll give them credit for that. Like, there's a lot of terrible things in this movie.
They also said that Momo was a bat. Momo was not a bat.
Did they say that?
Yeah. They said, "Oh, it's a lemur bat." I'm like, "No, it's not a bat. It's just a flying lemur."
It's a flying, yeah.
But even with like Momo, every time, I feel like almost every scene, it was like
Momo.
Yeah,
yeah. Well,
because they go to the air temple.
No, I remember that, but was he in it past that?
Yeah,
a little bit.
Remember
he was like flying
I
around.
don't remember him. So after the stupid Earth Kingdom fight, when they find all the scrolls instead of setting up the pirates.
Yeah.
He like kicks over that scroll, and it happens to be the waterbending scroll, and Katara can read it.
And also, I feel like when, for some reason, I remember him at the Blue Spirit fight, which makes no sense. I remember him just flying around, but I don't know. The point, he's not used at all after they find him.
No, not at all.
But my point was like something about the way that they adapted the episodes. It's like when in an episode of a show, like you have like each episode has their individual arc. They're kind of like they're like mini movies, and like you can introduce information in small amounts in like these individual episodes that accumulate over time. And when you have this film, which basically kind of like mini adapts like the episodes, the way that the exposition rolls out is really, really like bad writing. Like it's just like
it's
every
jarring,
scene they're talking about some other aspect of this world, and you're just supposed to be like along for the ride. If I didn't have like a vast knowledge of the Avatar verse, I would be like totally overwhelmed and lost. It's just like really lazy writing. And also it's so much of it is delivered through expositional dialogue rather than like, even if they just had a better opening crawl, I feel like they could have so much more effectively like introduced us to like the different areas of this world and the different peoples of this world. It's so cringy.
Right, because opening crawl you immediately associate with Star Wars, right? Star Wars 4, obviously, is the first movie, right, that comes out, but there's like already established lore that nobody knows except for George Lucas, I guess. And it gives you this full list of what's happening, where they're at, right? And you can jump right in and it makes sense. This movie gives you...
can't do that.
It makes no sense. And I know what it is, and it still makes no sense.
No sense.
Yeah.
Oh, it just doesn't... The movie's disgusting to look at. It doesn't ever look good. The color grading is terrible.
Good sometimes.
No.
Well, there are some things, like the air temple looks pretty good.
That
I think the North Pole looks pretty good.
It looks all right.
The second air temple they go to, that trap doesn't make any sense because how did that guy get in the secret chamber? So, for those of you who don't know, in the movie, there's a scene where Aang goes to this temple, and there's this old dude there. And he's like, oh, there's a secret chamber here. Now, in the show, that chamber can only be opened by air nomads. You can only open it with airbending. I don't know how that guy got into that room, and then they have all these Fire Nation soldiers just surrounding Aang because they're all behind the statues. It's such a like...
Well, Cameron, you know what makes even less sense than that?
What?
How did that guy know that Aang was going to be there? Because the whole thing was Aang is sitting on this like riverbed with Katara, and he's like, I have this vision. The monks are calling to me. And then he goes to this place, and the guy shows up like as if he's the guy who like was in the vision.
Takes care of it, right.
But
I thought it was going to be
Then they have the trap, which totally retcons. Like, how did that guy know that Aang was going to be there?
I think they were
clearly no vision.
The Fire Nation.
Yeah, they're probably just banking on him going there. But like, also, they didn't know that he was there. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's the
right.
I don't know. I think they assumed because they were like, oh, he's going north. They're like, okay. In the off chance that he'll go here, we'll station 50 armed soldiers here and set a trap for him.
Yeah, it was like
just sitting behind some rocks.
Yeah, I don't know.
Guys, can we talk about the Avatar tests? Iroh just puts some water and then a rock and then some fire. Well, fire was first.
The candle.
And then just the candle and then some water and then a rock on a table, and he's like, you're the Avatar.
But like, Aang doesn't know how to do any of that yet.
Right, he can't bend.
He can only
do air.
He can only airbend. That's like the whole thing of the first season. The other two seasons are him learning how to do the other bending. Also,
right, and he can't do the other bending at other points in the movie.
He can't,
he can't. But those rocks are just like
the floating rock. Oh my god, he
sense.
has to be the Avatar. like, I get
also,
like they said it. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
Also, like after they see that he can use more than one element, why do they have to do all four? You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. Because if you can do two, you can do four.
But also, like, they know he's...
You can either do one or all.
They know... I guess they don't know he's an airbender at that point. Because, like,
Yeah, not for sure.
Yeah.
But he does have the air. He has the airbender.
Yeah. So if he has
Nomad
this
tattoo, which looks awful,
it's bad. It's just bad. I'd rather it just be the solid blue. color.
right?
So if they should assume that he's an airbender because he has the tattoos. Why do they care? Exactly, going off your point. If they just do the first test and it moves, which also isn't a reliable test because it could just be the wind moves the flame, but whatever. But after the first test, why do they need to go through the other two?
Absolutely no clue.
It's cringe.
It really is. It's so cringe. Overall, cringe. This movie, oh god, it doesn't make sense. There are other scenes in this movie, maybe. I don't remember them.
No.
They're so bland. They're very boring.
So
none of the characters make sense. Oh, what's her name? Moon Girl? What's her name?
UA?
Is that her name?
Yeah,
Yue?
I think so. Isn't it
She's
isn't it
attractive.
Japanese for moon? Maybe? I don't know.
Fun
Could be.
fact,
I don't remember her
the
as a character
actress who
very well.
plays Yue in this movie is the voice of Asami in Korra.
Oh, weird.
Interesting.
Fun.
Isn't that
Right.
weird? She got major redemption on that one.
That's right.
Yeah, I was gonna say. She is actually one of the best looking characters in this movie, though, I would say.
Okay. Whoa. The first shot she's in is a behind shot, and her hair. Sorry, the podcast is about to get R-rated for a second. Looks just like a penis. I mean, it looks shockingly like a penis. Look at her hair now.
Oh yeah.
If you're listening, Google it. It like
Google her
literally
hair.
all of like the way her hair is like shaped and the way her
There's
hair
no way they
moves.
didn't
Because
see
there's like
that,
there's,
right?
there's
Not
like
see
her
it.
hair, and then it's almost like a bun with like a blue rope, and then her hair comes out of that and then back down.
Yeah, and there's like a central piece of hair that's like the urethra. It's like really cringe. It's really bad.
My God, I hate it.
So
Yeah, I feel like there was absolutely no attention. Like they shot this movie
did
and then
they
they were
not
like, "All
see
right,
it?
this is done."
yeah, that's good. Yeah, we're fine.
How did they
Yeah,
not see it?
I have no idea.
It's whatever. I think we can only talk about how bad this movie is for so long. So do we want to give
I don't
our
think,
ratings?
Well, I
Hold
want to
on,
say, are
I'll
there
give
any
you-
redeeming quality?
No.
Sometimes every once in a while I caught myself saying this music's not bad.
The music is okay, but also the music existed beforehand.
That's not true.
Was it not the Avatar music?
None of this
I thought it
music
was.
is not that. None of the music was the Avatar music.
Oh,
Oh,
see,
that
I
sucks.
listened,
That's such a wasted
I
opportunity.
listened to the intro music, which I think was maybe the Avatar
That
intro
might have
music,
been the Avatar music.
and then I didn't pay attention past that, so I just figured more of it was.
There was one part where when Aang is getting captured on Zuko's ship, he like airbends some guys to the ceiling and then runs across the wall, and I thought that was cool.
Yeah, the airbending is simultaneously the stupidest
Zuko
looking
fight
thing,
was
and
cool.
like, okay, the Zuko fight was cool.
When
I just
Zuko
feel
spars on the ship, that was probably the coolest part of the movie.
Zuko looked okay if he had had a better scar.
Yeah.
It like
His
as an
character
actor, he was
better
like,
in.
yeah. Well, here's the thing: the
He
writing,
got the edginess. Of
right?
Zuko.
The writing overall terrible. Like, there's not a single character that was written well. Like,
I
Iroh,
think they were all written bad.
Hero.
they were
every
all
single
written
one.
terribly.
Yeah.
Iroh is one of like the cuddliest,
One of
coziest
the-
characters, and he's
Yeah.
like this big fat old man, you know, and he's like,
And he was
just
like
the
this
best.
tall, like salt and pepper, like
right.
maybe middle-aged guy. No,
Yeah.
Iroh is short, fat, and funny.
It made no sense. I think Zuko's
Yeah.
casting was okay. Yuen was her name.
UA, I think.
Yeah, her Moon Girl. She was she was cast pretty well. Sokka looks like Sokka. Sokka does not act like, or sorry, Sokka
this
looks
is
like
true.
Sokka.
Sokka looks like
does
Sokka
not-
looks like Sokka.
Sokka looks like
But
Sokka. Sokka does not act like Sokka.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and so that was disappointing. Katara is like fine. She's fine.
I think Katara's the worst one, personally.
She's probably the worst. Well, I would say she's not as bad as Iroh is, but she's not. She's one of the lower ones to me.
See, this is like how I feel about the character. Now, like, people probably will disagree with this, which is like totally fine. But
Yeah.
I don't need this movie to just give me the same exact like characterizations of these characters from the animated show. I think it's fine to change them, but I think that
Yeah, absolutely.
just don't make them literally nothing. Like, I feel like there's like instead of like these characters being like interesting, they're just like nothing. Like I feel like Katara and Sokka add nothing to the movie at all.
Well, none of the characters add anything to the movie
Yeah,
at all.
that's
It felt
true.
like Zuko feels like the main character in this movie, and that's not supposed to be right, you know?
Yeah.
He's the main character in like halfway through season 2.
Right. But he's not the main character either. He's one of the main characters,
Yeah,
but he's not the main character.
I feel like
But
I
it definitely
remember,
felt like a
his- yeah.
Zuko movie.
I remember being
fair.
shocked by the end of the movie how little lines I think Aang had. I feel like he didn't
Like, none.
even speak that the Ong.
Yeah.
No, he had his speech,
which
He
was
did have his
horrible.
speech.
I think I
That
laughed.
really
I think I
cringy.
laughed out loud when he found all the dead air nomads.
Yeah, they look
There
bad.
was there was no emotion behind
Yeah.
it.
It looked like they bought them from a Spirit Halloween. They
He
didn't
was-
even try.
He was just like,
Like also
"Ah!"
in the show, it's like this big deal that he finds it and he like freaks out. And he tears up the place because he goes in the Avatar state. And then Katara just walks up behind him and her hair isn't even moving. He's making a tornado and she's fine.
Right.
And yeah, make the argument that she's in the eye of the tornado, but she's not. She's clearly like 5 feet behind him.
Well, that's another thing that happens at the Earth fight is that he's doing that to all the fire soldiers, and then Sokka just runs up to him, runs through it.
Yeah.
because he's Sokka. It's because he's built different.
That's right.
So
He is
Ahsoka.
built different. Sokka's built different. Oh man. I don't have anything else to say, but I do. Before I move on to a subject, before we rate, do you guys have anything else to say?
No, I hate this movie.
The very end of the movie sets up the second film by teasing
That's
that Azula is coming. And I gotta say,
I love Game of Thrones.
I'm kind of okay with the fact that they didn't make any more of these.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, yep.
But with that, they are making the Netflix version, and they're making something over at Nickelodeon because the creators dropped out of the Netflix one. So do you guys know about this?
Yeah. I knew, like, I followed it for a little bit.
Yeah. So
I kinda
about
stopped.
a year and a half ago, Netflix announced they were doing a live action TV show, high budget, with the creators of Avatar. It's going to be a live action recreation of the TV show. Longer episodes, more in depth, like into the characters even more. However, about half a year ago, the creators dropped out because they were having creative differences with Netflix. So the Netflix thing is still happening, but the creators went to Nickelodeon and created the Avatar Studio, which they are then making an animated Avatar movie starring the main cast of the original The Last Airbender. And that's going to be a full-length feature film, and I believe it's going to be set in between The Last Airbender and Korra.
That could be good.
That might
Yeah,
be
and
the Zuko's mom movie.
Zuko's
Yeah.
mom movie.
Because there's those two, like, graphic novels.
Yeah, and
That's the
They're going
only
to be-
loose end from the original show. Is that
right.
Yep.
they kind of set that up.
There are going to be more projects from Avatar Studio. However, the Netflix thing, I think, is still in motion. I think that it has the possibility to be good. I think I'm a little bit nervous since the creators dropped out, but it could have been that they didn't want to change the show at all.
Yeah.
And
I doubt it.
sometimes changing it is good. You know, it can be for the better, especially because they were
Yeah.
making the episodes longer, so they were going into more detail. Maybe they didn't like where they were going with those details. Netflix writers can be good, they can be bad. So we'll find out, I guess.
I actually, I kind of only have my faith in the two guys that are
Me
the
too.
Avatar guys. I follow them both on Instagram. They both seem like they're really great people. I think they're unbelievably talented. I don't know why anyone would ever doubt any creative decision they make ever, but people do. Nickelodeon did famously several times, specifically with Korra, and
Right.
Korra got benched. They took it off the air and put it online for a while.
Yeah.
And obviously, everything that happened with this atrocity of a movie that we just reviewed, I just really trust their judgment. So I would imagine that there would have to be something big for them to leave production on this Netflix thing. I'm still going to watch the Netflix thing. I'm not saying the Netflix
I
thing is like
absolutely will
100% going to be bad. It might be
Yeah.
good.
It could be good, yeah.
I doubt it can be worse than the movie we watched.
Oh, absolutely. There's
It's
no
gonna
way.
be better.
Netflix
Yeah.
doesn't. Netflix doesn't create things that are that bad.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be better.
We don't really hear things. We don't hear creative differences with Netflix very often. At least I don't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's not something that I have personally heard of. We hear it with a lot of other studios. You know, like Warner Brothers is a big one, but I've never heard of a Netflix project, especially because they worked on a show with Netflix before, animated. What's that show? It's about a dragon prince, maybe something.
Yeah, and
something
that
prince.
guy, the main character of that show is the voice actor for S.I.K.
Yep, and it's pretty good. So like they've worked
Yeah.
together. So I'm curious what the problem was, and I guess we may or may
knows?
never find out. But
Yeah.
I have a little bit of faith in Netflix, but I have much more faith in the Avatar boys. So I'm sure that movie's
Yeah.
going to be really good.
Me as well.
Well,
Is it time to rate?
I think it's time
Oh
to rate.
shit.
Okay,
Who would like to start us off?
I'm going to start straight out the gate. I'm giving this movie a 1 for one okay looking
Yeah.
Appa boy, realistic looking Appa. That's why it gets a 1.
Wow.
Zach, do you want to go next?
Yes. Wow, this is a tough decision. See, this movie did give me a couple of good laughs, so I feel like I can't give it a 0, even though I'm tempted to give it a 0.
Yeah,
I might hit
that's
it.
why
with,
I gave it a 1.
I might hit it with the 1. I mean, it's really,
Yeah.
I think, non-exaggeration to say, one of the worst movies that has ever been made.
Because it's not fun boring. Or not, sorry, it's not fun bad.
No,
It's
it's not
just
fun
boring
bad.
Yeah,
bad.
it's
just
just bad.
It's just bad.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
it's
gonna
also racist
agree
and
with you
offensive and
guys.
all those things. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that 3
I'm also gonna give it. Yeah, I'm giving it a 1 out of 10. It's
Okay.
It has no redeeming quality. Like it's just bad.
And
There's
then
no.
our averaging rule would give a 1 for
A
Blake,
1.
too.
So this is our lowest rated movie with a 4 out of.
Look at
40.
that. Our highest to our lowest.
I
What
kind
a
of want to
crazy.
retcon it and give it a 0 now that I'm thinking about it, but
Oh, yeah.
No, because it's always 1 out of 10, right?
What's that?
it's a 1.
I
It's
thought
a
it
1.
was always 1 out of 10.
It's a 1. Wow.
Like I would give it a 0 if I could.
You could give it a 0.
You can give it a 0.
Yeah.
All right, I'm giving it a 0 then.
I'm changing
I-
mine. I'm
I
giving it a
think-
0.
Are you kidding? I'm giving it a 1 because I think that I'm giving it a 1 specifically for the scene where the 5 guys did that whole dance in the slow boulder.
No.
I think I might have to
That's
change it to
why
a
I'm
10
giving-
for that scene.
Yeah, that's right. No, but I'm seriously giving it a 1 because that happened. And I'm not kidding, because if that did not happen, I would never have laughed at it. There would not have been a single enjoyable part. But there was one, and I'm sure there are movies that have no
Yeah.
enjoyable parts, and I want to leave 0 for that.
So what do we want to average Blake with?
So what is that?
Blake
0?
would have given this a
So-
0.
She absolutely would have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so 1 out of 40.
Let's go.
Yeah. Attaboy, Avatar. You really
Also, by the way, the show it's
God,
based
you
on
screwed the pooch
10
on
out of
that
10.
one.
10
Great
out of 10
show.
show.
Yep.
This not so
Well,
much.
I think it's time for my favorite part of
Oh,
the
the
podcast.
It's a pretty good part.
wheel.
It's a pretty good part.
Spin
It's a
the
pretty good part.
wheel.
Let's spin
Edison
that
over
wheel,
here
my
with his
man.
movie news.
Oh,
I
Man.
think
we
the
got some good
summary
segments.
synopsis is the best segment.
Yeah, look at us, all three
Spin,
of us.
spin,
We've got our
spin,
segments.
spin,
Now we got to
spin.
go with Blake's education segment.
Oh, Edison, you're gonna love this one.
Oh, what is it?
We're doing Knives Out
Oh
next
my
week.
god,
Yes!
it's Edison's week.
Yes. God, I love that movie.
I've never seen Knives
Oh
Out.
my God,
really?
it's so good.
That's a good one.
Oh
That's a
my
good
God,
one.
it's so
Never
good.
seen it.
Is it on
Oh,
Netflix?
I can't
boy.
wait to watch it again. I watched it a week ago, and I'm watching it again. Oh
Oh my god. I would love to watch
It's on
that
Amazon
again.
Prime. It's on Amazon Prime.
Cool.
All right. Well, this was a something we watched. I'm not even
Hey,
going
we
to call it
watched
a
a
movie.
This was a
anymore.
that
movie.
was worse than The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Well, according to your rating of King Kong, which was somehow a 9, I would have given it an 8 out of 10.
Wait, did we
Whatever.
rate King Kong versus Godzilla lower than Spider-Man?
Yeah,
Yeah.
9.75
I
out of 40.
kind of agree with that, but
It's what I think. I think that Godzilla v Kong was worse
So
than
our
Spider-Man.
current rating, we have Trial of Chicago 7 at a 35.7 out of 40. Lorax with a 31.5 out of 40. Detective Pikachu, 22 out of 40. Amazing Spider-Man 2 with a 20 out of 40. Snyder Cut, 18.5 out of 40. King Kong vs. Godzilla, 9.75 out of 40. And The Last Airbender, 1 out of 40.
That checks out really well, actually. Hearing all of those ratings, I'm like, yeah, that is exactly
job.
how I would rate those.
Good job, fellas.
Good job, us. We're doing a great job. Everybody, thank us for doing such a good job.
Yeah.
Good job, Cameron. I'm proud of me. Yeah.
Let's go.
Go down, hit the like button, follow us on whatever streaming
go
service
down
you do,
there.
because we do such a good job.
Everybody
You
go
know?
down there.
Can you hit the like button on a podcast?
For us, guys. Firebend the comments.
I want to see fire emojis spammed in the chat.
Give us a review. Leave us a review on Apple's podcast. That's really helpful.
Spotify.
One review to save all the nations.
That's right. Review. Give us a 5 out of 5 on.
Yeah.
Or I mean, you don't need to. You can give us whatever rating you want. Honestly, I can't force you to choose. I would prefer if you.
can.
Yeah, Cameron can. But I would prefer if you gave it a 5. But if you want to give it a 1, like we just gave, maybe Avatar's your favorite movie of all time. And
Is
we just gave it
anybody
a 1
listening
out of
right
40.
now?
Yeah.
Hey, if you're sitting there and you're listening, thanks for making it all the way to the end.
Seriously,
Yeah.
we really appreciate it.
Good job.
Also,
Yeah.
if you're also listening and Avatar's your favorite movie, please God
Stop
email.
listening.
No, please God email us, because I want to have you on the podcast and I
Yeah.
want to talk to
You're
you.
gonna be our next guest.
There's something wrong with you, and I wanna talk to you so bad.
Well, I think that
boy.
I
leaves
think
it
that's
a
it.
wrap for
Make
this week.
sure to follow us on Instagram.
Follow us
Do
on
it.
Instagram.
Follow
Check
us
out our
on all the
YouTube.
places to follow us.
It's just Instagram, but we should make some more places.
Nah, it's fine.
Okay.
We're on
I think
Spotify
that's
too,
it.
right?
We are on Spotify. We're on all the
We're on
streaming
Spotify.
services.
That's right.
Do that, guys.
Should be.
S.I.C.K. on Spotify.
We'll see you guys
No, on Instagram.
on-
That's on
on
Instagram.
Instagram.
I was going to say on
Instagram.
Spotify, it's just the S.I.C.K podcast.
next
Yeah.
week.
All right. See you
Bye.
guys next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.